awareness, I like this definition. Awareness is that whatever it is, which is hearing these words right now. And it's also, it's real. Awareness is that which is real. It's not an imagined, it's something real, whatever that is. It might not even be a something. So it's like an aware reality, that which perceives, sights, is aware of sensations, is aware of thoughts. Yeah, so that is what we call awareness. And in this terminology, it's good to clear this thing that is like some special, mystical, is like, oh, this special awareness that I need to reach or something. We are talking more like it's called dog shit awareness. One of my teachers would say, like, it's like conscious contact. It's perceiving. Yeah, consciousness is the perceiving. Also, it helped me to not refer to such things as nouns, like awareness, consciousness, presence, the self. All these are nouns that gives the idea that there's like a something. Yeah, so like a something, like a computer, like a sensation. Yeah, so it was helpful at some point to hear this pointer that, hey, look at like a consciousness or awareness more like awareing or awarenessing or consciousnessing. This might not be like a something, it's like it's a happening. In the same way that, like, say, the ego or the, and I really like in the fourth way, they don't call it ego so much. All these many eyes and state of sleep creates an imaginary picture of myself. Yeah, the imaginary I. Yeah. So even that, I mean, I find it useful not to call it ego, but more like egoing or selfing. Anyway, so we have this definition, and in what we are talking here, just for the clarity sake, awareness, consciousness, presence, true nature, the witnessing, they're all synonymous. We use them synonymously, yeah?
Yes.
So coming back to my point, when I was engaging in self-remembering in my 20s, I didn't understand what I understand now. What I understand now is that there is more here than this voice and this thought and this feeling and these sounds. There is that which is aware, was here all along when I was in my mother's belly, is here now, whether it's aware of itself or not. It's here. It's something, there's more. Yeah, actually, the fact that I see, hear, and sense, and I complain about this suffering, it implies that there is awarenessing of it. Yeah, everything we perceive, it's a testimony that there is the perceiving. Yeah, this awareness. So now I know.
Simply because we couldn't know it was happening without awareness being there.
Yeah, it's the perceiver in chief, the perceiving in chief, the where Francis used to say, Francis of Sales, it's where the buck stops, where, you know, the ultimate perceiver, you know, it's not the eye, it's not the brain, it's consciousness, which is perceiving through the eye, through the brain, through the all of this. So
you could even say, Mihai, you could say that awareness hears the ear hearing, and it sees the eye seeing,
mm-hmm.
and it feels the hand touching something. Mm-hmm. So I say that because awareness is always, actually, I think it's fair to say always, one slight step beyond whatever the mind conceives it to be. The mind responds and it reflects these perceptions we have about awareness, immediately transcribes them into a conceptual thought, an idea, model of what that is and what it's. So we have to be very vigilant. Mm-hmm. Awareness has to remain vigilant and see this is just inevitably something the mind does. It's how it operates, mm-hmm. and it's how it sort of ensures that human beings will hold a sense of identity in the four centers and in the what the non-dual teachings would call the body and mind.
Yeah.
But I interrupted you there. I don't know if you remember
No,
what you were going
I
to.
remember. Yeah, I was saying that now, and of course we are doing the best we can to use this conceptual framework. We are straining our intellect, but me and Peter, we love doing that. We've been doing it for a long time. But so we are straining the conceptual power of the intellectual center to put into words the unutterable for the purposes of clarifying some things. But as Lao Tzu,
in the mind, this intellectual center, all the centers, they can never go above the surface of the second state.
yeah,
They can do remarkable work, but they actually cannot go beyond that. This is also important. This is also a critical realization. No matter how much you engage the mind, no matter how marvelous your mind is, it can never get out of the ocean. It's like you're under the water and you can swim. You can make an effort. And effort is really just, what is it? It's a concentrated focus of energy in the four lower centers. So we concentrate our energy, we focus it, and then we do what's called make an effort. If you want to learn how to ride a bike, you have to make an effort. If you want to do push-ups, right? You have to focus your attention in your moving center and even your instinctive center and make this effort. If you want to learn a new language or learn how to type, you have to focus the attention in one or more centers. But what did I want to say? That I was using the analogy, you're underwater, you have to make an effort to swim to the surface, right? And that's a right effort of the mind. But it's the mind that is making this effort because really when awareness realizes it's in the second state, so to speak, all it has to do is realize itself. It's immediately it's at the surface at least. It doesn't actually swim to the surface. The mind turns it into this idea of I must swim to the surface, I must get out of the second state and swim up to the surface. And then when it gets on the surface, it can make the mind and the body can make an effort to swim along the surface, right? But there's no effort they can make to swim into the sky. It's impossible, just like it's physically impossible for us to swim into the sky. You can swim from below to the surface and you can swim along the surface. Only awareness can be in that dimension, that third state, that third level of dimension of consciousness, dimension of itself. It's not like awareness enters another dimension and the dimension is something that awareness enters. No, that is awareness. That actually is awareness. It is the third state of awareness or of consciousness, as the fourth way says. And mindfulness, you mentioned mindfulness earlier, Mihai, that to my experience, I don't want to dismiss mindfulness. I know it means a lot to many people, but I see mindfulness as being a focus of attention really in the second state and on the surface. And the word, it says mind. The mind you're being mindful of. And it often has the connotation of being mindful of something. You're aware of something. So you're mindful. I'm mindful of my thoughts. I'm mindful of my actions. I'm mindful of other people's feelings. I'm mindful of the environment and so on. It's all second state. But on the other hand, I think it's true to say that being mindful of mindfulness is divided attention. It is self-remembering, said in another way. However, you need to understand, if you're practicing mindfulness, that awareness doesn't practice mindfulness. The mind practices. In fact, awareness doesn't do any practices. All practices are really the mind trying to get to the surface and stay at the surface. To allow awareness to pop into a higher dimension of itself.
Wow, hang on, let's stay here, Peter.